Action.
All right, so we got another delivery in today. Welcome back to my channel, guys and girls. Today we have from Rubber Road Limited, which is also known as Numskull, Burgertime Quarter Arcade, which is a quarter scale. We've got a few of these guys, and I'm excited about this one. This one has been a long time waiting for me. And so here we have it. There's the nice retail packaging. We'll of course keep this original shipping box in great shape because I am sick like that. I like to keep my old boxes. Box within a box, and I keep them all. Because I'm nuts. Eventually I will run out of space for boxes. But here we are. We're gonna go ahead and get this guy open and check it out. All right, cut the box open. So as you can see, the artwork on the box is really, really nice. Just gives you a shot of the control panel. Give you a shot of the actual gameplay. Running with the original ROM. No question about that. That's great, good stuff. I always like the cabinet design on this because it's not your typical cabinet which has all square edges. It kind of maps the character that's on the side, which is, the name is Pepper, and it follows the shape of his hat. Okay. USB-C cable, perfect. Of course, it will not come with a power brick because manufacturers assume you just have a ton of those sitting around the house. There we go. Nice bright orange paint. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Along with it comes manual. We'll set this to the side and we'll get to the contents of this box. We've been waiting for. Give a little slit at the tape here up top. Get this sucker open. There we go. Ooh, look at that. Isn't she beautiful? There you go. In typical Quarter Arcade's form, we've got a beautifully crafted, made out of wood, quarter scale arcade machine. And as always, they put the little grab handles here and the little Numskull Designs badge on the back with the faux lock for the back door. Down at the bottom, you got your volume control, your power indicator, USB-C input for charging, and your power button. This thing should have a bit of a charge on it, so it might be able to turn it on right away. And on the front end of it, we've got a nice kick plate at the bottom. Beautiful, beautiful artwork on the front. It feels like it's screen printed on. It's not even a sticker. That's painted right onto the cabinet. And these are your coin release buttons, which are typically your menu features or how you coin up the game. And these sometimes are a button too. I'm not sure if it'll be on this one, but sometimes these locks are actually a menu button. And then as we come up here to the control panel, you got beautiful screen printed artwork here as well. Your pepper buttons, both left and right. So if you're left or right-handed, you can use your pepper buttons here. You've got your 1-player start, 2-player start buttons. And of course, my favorite part, the protective plastic on the screen and bezel. I love peeling this off. Nothing more satisfying. Nothing more satisfying than that. Let's get that out of there. Blink in the box. So there you have it. Beautiful. Let's get it turned on and see if it's got any battery on it.
Action.
All right, it's the next day and we've got the Burgertime machine all charged up. I was gonna finish the video yesterday, but we have guests in town. We have my wonderful best friend and like almost a son to me, Michael, and he's actually shooting the video for me. So we've been kind of busy doing our thing. And I got a little gameplay in it yesterday and got it fully charged. So we're ready to kind of run through the machine and its features and quirks. So without any further ado, I'm going to power the machine up. And if Mike, if you'll come over here and zoom in on the marquee, you'll notice that boom, as soon as you turn on the switch, you instantly see the marquee light up and you get the Numskull Quarter Arcade's splash screen. If you press and hold the 1-player, 2-player start buttons at the same time while it's booting, it's going to bring you into the dip switch menu, which the dip switch menu is basically something that also existed on the original arcade. This is where you determine the different game options. So let's think of it as a setup screen. So your options are as listed. Coin A, that basically allows you to determine how many coins you get with, or how many credits you get with one coin. And same with the coin B, which is this one here. So this coin A, coin B, you can determine how many credits you get per coin or per press of the buttons. Service mode, not sure what that is. I know that that's an arcade thing. If you're testing the machine, I'm not sure that it will come in handy with this. You have your crosshatch pattern, which I'm not sure what that is either. We're not going to get into that right now. You have your cabinet. Basically, this determines which orientation the monitor is in, if it's an upright machine or a cocktail machine, which doesn't really apply here either. But seeing as that they're using the original ROM, you're going to have options in here that you're not really going to use because of the fact that this is a game, it's a toy, and it's, you know, the right ROM just built into a toy game. So some of these options are not really going to apply. You've got how many lives you can start with. I'm going to start with 5 because, you know, I'm not terribly great at this game. I'm not bad at it either, but I like the advantage of having 5 lives to start with. We're going to go to bonus lives. You can determine how many points before a bonus life is awarded. You can press the 1-player start button to kind of choose different options within each option. So if like I wanted to change the bonus lives, make it a little harder, you can change it to 15 or 20,000. I'm going to keep mine on 10,000. And enemies, you can choose from 4 or 6 enemies on the screen. I'm going to keep it at 4. Again, I'm not great at this game. And then end of life pepper. That means like when you finish a level, you get a free pepper. And I'm going to keep that on yes. And just to let you know, for people who don't know this game, pepper is your way to defend yourself. If you get in a situation where you've got enemies on both sides and you're trapped, basically, you can pepper one of your enemies, and that will allow you to escape. So I'm going to hit start game. That's going to exit us out of this menu. And I'll go over a little bit of what this game is all about. This game came out in 1982 and by Data East. And basically, you are a chef. His name is Pepper, and that's him on the front here, and on the sides, that's Pepper. And Peter Pepper basically goes around this maze and is trying to build his burgers, right? So as he's going around trying to build his burgers, there's going to be enemies that are trying to stop him. One is a hot dog, one is a dill pickle chip, and the other is an egg. And as you'll notice, as he's dropping the parts, that they're falling all the way to the bottom. Well, that some of them fall all the way bottom. That all is predicated by how many enemies you can land on that bun as you're going across it to make it drop. So if there are no enemies on the bun, it's just going to drop 1 level of the base. If you've got multiples, it may drop 2 or 3 levels down the maze. So the object is to get all the buns to go all the way to the bottom. These bonus items will appear on the screen. It's either going to be ice cream, a cup of coffee, or another. It usually ends up in the middle of the screen. Those will give you bonus peppers. So you start off with 4 peppers, and you can actually, if you don't use your peppers, you'll have a little ice cream or a cup of coffee or something like that appear on the screen. And then if you run that over, it'll give you another pepper. So my way to play this game is basically to not use peppers if you can. There's the ice cream. So if you could save your peppers, they're going to help you out in the long run on the harder levels, because you are going to need the peppers on the harder levels. So I try not to use peppers on the first 2 levels if possible, so that I can build up peppers. Because if you grab these bonus items like the French fries, the coffee, or the ice cream, that's going to award you another pepper. And then when you finish a level, that's going to award you another pepper. So I try to accumulate the peppers as much as possible. These are enemies. You got Mr. Hot Dog, Mr. Pickle, and Mr. Egg. They're going to be following you around the maze trying to stop you from doing what you got to do. So that's the object of the game. your players are here. That shows you how many peppers you got left. And your levels are indicated here by this little hamburger at the lower right hand side of the screen. At the top right hand of the screen, it'll tell you how many peppers you have left, your high score, and then your actual score is going to be at the far left. So to coin up the game or to add credits, you're going to press either one of these buttons will do the same thing. So when you press it, you'll notice it says credit 1, press start button. If you press it multiple times, you get more credits. This is a 2-player game, so you can either press the 1-player or 2-player button, and it's indicated by the single burger or the double stack. So these are your 2 buttons that you can use to play either by yourself or have another person play against you. As you both play, once the first person goes, once they die, the second player can get on and start trying to beat your score. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. And before I do that, actually, I'd like to discuss the quality control in these games. I mean, how they're put together, and, you know, I gotta say, I've been collecting these since the first few games that came out, and I'll have to say the last 2 games have been a little bit of a disappointment for me. The last 2 games I got was Zookeeper and this one. And the problem I have is, you know, the playability of the game, okay? The joysticks that are incorporated into the game. With Zookeeper, basically, it's a round, it's a screen where you got to go around and cage in these animals. We'll go over that in another video, but the joystick sticks. So, like, it will move freely, but the joystick is of the wrong type. So what happens is, in a game where you can only go in 4 directions, if the joystick allows for diagonal presses, that's going to get your player stuck. And that's really, really frustrating in a fast-paced game such as Burgertime or Zookeeper, because you got to keep moving in these games. Otherwise, you are really not going to be successful at beating the levels. So that's been the case with Zookeeper, and from the little bit of gameplay I did yesterday, I came across the same problem with this joystick. At times, my player would get stuck, and then you have to kind of wiggle the joystick around in just the right position to get him to go where he needs to go. This is supposed to be a four gate, which means it can only move up, down, left, or right, which prevents the joystick from going diagonally in any direction. That's not the case with this joystick, and Pepper does get stuck. I'm just going to forewarn you if you are interested in buying this game. Another thing I came across, and these are my only 2 quirks with this particular game. The other games I have are Galaxian, Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Bubble Bobble, and Galaga, and those games all play really, really well. I have no problems or no complaints about those. Another thing about this game is I noticed as I was moving it yesterday, there's something dangling around in this game, and I kind of feel like it might be the battery pack. And to me, that's completely unacceptable. I mean, this is a brand new product. They're not cheap. They're, you know, almost $300. They're $250-ish on Amazon, and that's where I got mine. Very well packed, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it should be able to withstand going from one place to another without parts falling out. The game still works, but there's something loose inside, and I'll have to investigate that later. Otherwise, I'll just, you know, contact Amazon about a refund or a return and see if I can get another one, which will pose its own risks. Or I'll try to fix this one. We'll see what happens. If it's easy enough for me to get into this thing and use some industrial strength double stick tape, and maybe it's the battery just fell loose or whatever. So anyhow, that's my qualm as of lately with Quarter Arcades. I'm not sure what's going on, but guys, come on. These are great machines. I love to collect them. Other guys love to collect them. Let's make sure that these guys are the way they should be before they're up for sale. That would be my request. Anyhow, I'm going to press the 1-player start button and do a little gameplay. So, and you'll probably see me get stuck from time to time. That's what I'm talking about as far as the controls are concerned. So I'm going to go up to the top. And like I said, this is only a 4-way joystick. It should only be a 4-way joystick. And typically I would make it across that burger before I got killed. So let me try that one more time. These guys do follow some sort of a rhythm based on where you are. So you'll learn that rhythm, and you'll notice that they kind of just go wherever you are, and they'll take the least path of resistance. And see, I just got stuck there. I was trying to go down, and it would not let me go down, which is really frustrating. Let's see if any of these guys follow me. Of course, they're going to try to be slick. I'm going to pepper this guy. Oh, pepper all these guys, and goodbye, see you later. And as you notice, there's the ice cream cone. I just got another pepper. I wasted 2 peppers getting 1, so I'm just gonna go around. And for the most part, I mean, the joystick isn't really that bad. I mean, you can get used to it, but I'd have to say Zookeeper is far, far worse than this one. I wouldn't say the controls on this one are perfect either, because I do get stuck from time to time. And it's really frustrating when you're trying to get, and it just got stuck. See that? See that? And there's the game. That's the frustrating part about this, is it's like, it's really, really great in every aspect, but when you got to be really mindful about where you're pressing the joystick, that kind of takes the fun out of it, because there it is again. It kind of takes the fun out of the game because you're trying to be as quick as possible to not get killed. And then if you're getting stuck, it's game over. You're done. So that would be my only qualm with this game. I really like it a lot. I mean, the graphics are really, really beautiful. I do believe that these are, I don't know if these are stickers or not, to be quite honest with you. I want to say they're not. Based on what I feel here, this feels like there's no edges, so this is not a sticker. Now, whether or not this whole thing is a sticker, I don't know. And the same with the sides. But these are real, this is a real wood machine. I mean, so the materials that they use to make these are really nice. But you hear that? That's not great. I don't know. And let's see, there are 4 screws here. 2 here and 2 here. So what I'm gonna do at some point is I'm gonna take a small screwdriver, loosen these screws, and if this comes right off, that would be great. That would allow me to access whatever it is that's floating around in there. So anyhow, that's my review of the Burgertime Quarter Arcade. Great machine. I would say if you're interested in getting this machine, I would go ahead and get it. Like I said, just gotta be mindful of this joystick. It's not the greatest. It's not the worst either that I've ever come across. I think the next 2 games I want to get are going to be Elevator Action, because Elevator Action was one of my all-time favorites. It's a Taito classic. And I also am probably looking at getting Space Invaders at some point. I've been kind of waiting for the price to come down on Space Invaders, but I don't think that it will, because there was so much more technology that went into that game than any of these other games, because it uses a mirror projection system that was quite intricate, quite difficult for them to get achieved. Very impressive, but I think that's why they have the cost of those a little higher than the rest, because I think they kind of had a little more engineering problems, and it took them more time to really get that game going and get it to where it could be shipped. I wish they would spend more time making sure that these guys would ship and be ready to go. The last 2 games for me, like I said, were a bit of a disappointment. The Zookeeper is on my shelf. I like to play these. You know, I like to display them as well, but I also like to play them, and they're a good size for you to play them without having to strain your eyes. So that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, make sure and subscribe, click the notification button, and click on a like. That helps my channel. I'm trying to get this channel off the ground and hoping to do more video reviews. In the near future, I'm going to do a video on my game room, and also going to do a video on my multi-arcade machine that I built from scratch, and that'll be coming soon. So keep your eyes out, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it. All right, so we got this thing apart, and it was just those 4 screws holding it in, and the door came right off, which was great. So yeah, as you'll see, you've got these metal grates back here, like faux vent panel here. And on the inside, here's what we found. It's what I thought what the problem was, is there's a battery back here with a little hold down. And this hold down is supposed to have 3 screws in it. There are 3 holes in the bottom of the cabinet. I don't know if it's gonna be pretty difficult to see, but there are 3 holes in the bottom of the cabinet where these screws here are supposed to hold these battery holder down. Well, they broke free. They're apparently too small. They don't go far enough down. And maybe it's because that piece of wood down at the bottom is just too small to use a longer screw to keep this thing secured down. So I'm going to, I don't know, I couldn't find a 3rd screw, so I don't know what the heck went on here. If they tried to put it in, they stripped it out, and they decided to only put the 2 screws back in, but I only found 2 screws. There's supposed to be 3. One here, and one here. There's supposed to be 3 screws holding this thing down. I only found 2 screws, and they were both broke free. One of them actually had a little bit of the particle board still stuck on it, and it was real difficult to get it off. I'm gonna have to clean it off a little bit more. There's still some particle board stuck to it. So what I might do is I might put some hot glue in those holes and run these screws back through. I'm not gonna be bouncing this thing around anymore, so I think that'll keep this thing secure. Another thing I found are 2 cables loose, which is awesome. I didn't see any real issue with gameplay or anything like that, but here's a USB, micro USB that looks like plugs into this port here that's unplugged. And then down at the bottom, there's another harness. And if Mike, you can see that, I don't know if you can see that, but there's another connector right here that's just dangling there and it's supposed to go in here. So I'd imagine this thing during shipping took a nice little jolt and things just started popping free and the battery just kind of pulled and tugged on this harness until it unplugged these other guys. So I'm going to plug these back in. I don't know what kind of difference it's going to make and whatever's, you know, whatever may or may not have been working on this game. So let me see if I can get this thing plugged back in here. Kind of a pain in the neck. See, they made these wires so damn short, and then they put a an isolator on the wires, which kind of acts as a weight, and when it's bouncing around, this weight will pull things apart. So this is a ferrite is what they call this. It's supposed to isolate noise from the power cables, so that doesn't introduce any noise into the game. And we're gonna plug this micro USB cable back in here. Not sure why. They must have just came loose during shipping. And I'm not sure what functions they serve, but we're certainly gonna get them plugged back in because it's obvious that they were in there for a reason. Let's see if I got this oriented right. Looks like I do. I hate micro USB. I'm glad we've moved to USB-C. But these cables are so freaking taunt. I can't believe they wouldn't spare the expense in putting another, you know, 1/4 of an inch of a cable in here to get this thing, you know, to get the wires to fit right and not be so darn taut. I'm thinking, I don't know, this zip tie is kind of keeping everything real tight too, so I'm not sure if I'm going to snip that zip tie free or what, but everything's real taut. The wires are real short. They don't give you a whole lot. I mean, on the power cable, they kind of gave you a little bit of slack, which is nice. These other cables have no slack in them. So one good jolt and you're done. So in conclusion, like I said, quality control issues do exist with these machines. So be aware when you get yours, just turn it upside down, shake it from side to side and make sure nothing's loose in there. Maybe I just got unfortunate. Hopefully it's just my machine and there's not a bunch of others out there with cables unplugged and batteries that are just dangling around in the unit. Anyhow, that concludes my video. I just wanted to kind of add this to the video because I discussed it during my video and I figured, you know what, if this thing's easy enough to open up and see what's going on with it, maybe we can show other people in case they have the same issue or any other issues relating to gameplay or it not powering up. Check inside because these cables are really tight and one good jolt and, you know, it may pull some cables loose and what you might find is that your game doesn't power up or some other idiosyncrasy with it, and it might just be a cable that's unplugged because these cables are so darn short. And if the battery breaks free, it's just going to tug on those wires and pull everything free. Anyhow, talk to you guys later. Thanks for following along with me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.